Red Cow Arcade.
So, guys, I do have a hard stop at 5:40 today, just so you know.
Oh, shit, me too.
Because I have to be done at 5:40 right now.
Literally the middle of rush hour at 5:40 on a Wednesday afternoon.
Listen, we have a guest. You know him if you're on the Cinemaster Truth subreddit as IAmDanksy. Danksy, you're most famous for re-edits of the originally most edit for re-edits of the podcast. Am I right?
Yeah, mainly from that. Especially on the subreddit. So
very popular. Where you would take the Cinemassacre podcast, you would cut it up into something watchable, A, and B, something of the satirical, of the asshole-ish variety, really.
Exactly, yes.
Welcome back to the Cinemassacre podcast. I'm James.
It's your old pal, Musty Justy.
I'm Kieran.
My first favorite AVGN, the first Ninja Turtles, episode 5. Mm-hmm. When that came out, I messaged you about, putting...
I remember when it came out, it was a little more like a controversial opinion because I'm talking shit on this game. But anyway, I was like...
No, I'm going to talk shit.
So it was, and I only, as a kid, you only had...
I want it to be like, YouTube poops. I like YouTube poops, but I don't like YouTube poops at the same time. Because it's overbearing a lot of the time. So, and I like to actually kind of have things make sense. So it's like, I think a lot of people like that too, where it's, cut down kind of thing to where it's just like a highlights, but it's more than just highlights, right? It's more that plus the memes. So
you're satirizing them and you're like, for those who would get FOMO for not watching an episode of the podcast. So you're elevating the art form of YouTube poops.
Yeah. Trying, yes.
And exaggerating all the awkward moments. And
and that's the main part. Like there's a lot of there's a guy I watch, like Much Dank. He's a great kind of editor like that, where he makes basically that's what I do, but with hip hop interviews, and it's amazing. Okay. But he just takes the awkward bits, and it's great.
Let me ask you this: how do you have time to do a thing like that?
Exactly. Yeah. It's actually just even at work. Like I'll work at home sometimes. I could do video editing for companies. So if I'm just rendering, I'll just start editing something as it's rendering out. So.
Just fuck with poor James on the side.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, you know what? What does James have for me today? Very true. If someone sends me something, I'm like, okay, that's funny. So
well, here's the main course for today. Monster Madness was one of Cinemassacre's, premier shows outside of Angry Video Game Nerd, of course. James would, during the month of October, every single day, post a well-edited, well-narrated, well-researched, it was clear that he had investment in these movies that he was reviewing. He would do horror movies. So like the first year was like all of the Universal horror, like every classic, like all of the fundamentals. The second year was Godzilla. The third year was like 80s and on and on. And I loved them. I've never met like a Cinemassacre fan who didn't love them, in their heyday.
It was like really high quality. There wasn't a lot of the series quite like it. There were things that were somewhat like it, but the dedication to do it every single day, I think it signaled something for the future too. So it was it was like one of his brand pivots where he was like, I understand you enjoy the screaming and the rolling rock and the swearing, but also wouldn't it be cool if we profile to movies while we're here? Like we're all kind of like-minded nerds, right?
Well, you've seen the Angry Nerd rip apart some retro games. You've heard the Bullshit Man rant about some random everyday stuff. And you've heard me, myself, review some movies.
It had to have been the first YouTuber that I felt like I was celebrating Halloween with, right?
Yeah. Especially like for the whole season. I'm like, yeah, there was no one that really did it, especially during that time, right? Where it's like a whole marathon of things. And especially like a series in a way. Like no one really did that.
Yeah, I remember just looping them around Halloween time and just getting in the spirit and learning about movies that I didn't know about or being like, oh wow, James likes that movie. I didn't know like anybody but me has ever seen that movie or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Very niche stuff. Yeah.
And I remember it was a big to do that he would do this 31 days thing, and I can relate to. Like you do something as a tradition, you release like some holiday content or something, and people are like, are you going to do the thing again? And it's like, well, last year it was a big stunt that I did that big thing. It was a huge effort. Am I really going to like commit myself every year to doing this? He had two things going against him. One was that you can't be posting that amount of copyrighted material to YouTube. Although I honestly, I've gotten away with it. Like I did a reaction video, like a scene study of the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings. And you can easily play too much footage. Like I don't know exactly how it works, but I think the copyright holder sort of gets to decide, like, or maybe YouTube has a threshold for like, all right, if it exceeds 10 consecutive seconds from the real thing, then we're going to flag it or what. But if you cut fast enough, if you keep cutting, you can have a whole lot of copyrighted material on YouTube. But that was obviously, and probably for him, like that much effort, because it was huge. Like he had to get started in July and he had to get a lot of help doing it, obviously, like from Mike. He probably didn't want to put in that much effort, start releasing them and start getting nailed by copyright claims like all month long. That would suck.
And I think he probably ran out of movies he was actually passionate about. So he'd actually have to find new movies and research them. And he's not relying on his old memories and things like that.
Interestingly, very similar to the Angry Video Game Nerd in a lot of ways. You know, like once you kind of get through those 20 games you want to talk about, 20 games.
Yeah. Especially when he kept trying to do themed versions of it. Like he even did a sequel to the sequel-a-thon. Like,
right.
And then now he doesn't even do the themes. It's just kind of, I mean, this year it was kind of the new stuff, but this year he didn't really do a Monster Madness. You know what I mean?
I remember like one year he announced like, we're going to take it easier this year. And he would do sort of unscripted podcast style discussions about movies. They would do like top 10 witches or something. A lot of people hated that content. I actually didn't mind like him and Mike talking about stuff like the James and Mike Monday-ness of it.
Stuff I like.
I was into that. Yes. Yeah. If as soon as you, I mean, the ones that where people started to laugh was like, it's him and Kieran sitting in front of a green screen talking about the head incident.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Kieran's just kind of like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, even Kieran is kind of like out cooling James, where he's kind of like, I don't really want to talk about your movie. I think the thing that I like about it is it's not good in the traditional sense.
I love that. Yeah, it's traditional.
So whatever, they started to peter out again, understandably. It's kind of like a metaphor for the whole channel, really. And then last year, Screenwave, who we've well established, they outsourced to, they had it. I kind of get the sense that they had the idea. They were like, how about this? It used to be we would put it up on the website because the website was protected from all the copyright claiming. Let's do it again. They used a hosted site called Odyssey, which looks to me like it's, it's like one of, I don't know if I'm right about that. It looks to me like it's one of those like kind of Bitcoin powered, total trash sites. So they uploaded to that where it would be very safe from copyright flags. And and they said, we'll put them all up on the website. And the whole branding was like, it's for the fans. It's going to be 31 days again, whatever. And
it's too brutal for YouTube. That's what it was.
Too brutal. That was the branding. Thank you. Yeah. Too brutal for YouTube. Yes.
Yeah.
And so they upload the first one. Now, this is all very well documented in our other videos about this whole thing, but they upload the first one and it gets hit by somebody on the subreddit is like, this is just ripped off from an article. And you can kind of tell when you listen to it, you're like, it sounds kind of like an AI James.
Yeah. Literally the first couple words, it was like very off.
Yeah. It just had it, I've said in the past, he sells like the product of Cinemassacre is his perspective.
Yeah.
And like this was
genuineness, there's
right.
And
you can't tell.
You can tell right off the bat that this is not genuine. Like this is, I mean, you can tell from his other videos too, but if you're just looking at Monster Madness in a vacuum, this first episode was off.
So of course it was revealed that not just that the script was in fact plagiarized, but also it was plagiarized by somebody who worked for the group. And it sounds like they had a lot of internal drama over that.
One of our writers had somehow added a portion that was taken from a pre-existing article. That's unacceptable, and all of us here apologize for letting that sneak in.
Now, people have to realize that just a month or two prior, James had made this behind-the-scenes video about his process, and he said that kind of the people criticizing him for having no time and petering out and stuff are fans of the Ahole-ish variety. Oh, yes. So, 2022 rolls around, and people start to wonder, after last year, what's he going to do for Monster Madness? Yeah. He he can't come out confidently. So these mad lads on Cinemassacre Truth, and this is why we bring on Danksy. They got it in their trollish heads that they could pick up the slack, that they could maybe not just troll a little, but troll a lot. So yeah, a minute ago you were saying I want to elevate the art of YouTube poop. Well, now you're kind of elevating the art, like, so they
Cinemassacre Truth.
Yeah, the group a big group of you decided, what if we made 31 satirical Monster Madness style videos, Monster Madness of the Asshole-ish variety.
Hey, I'm Justin.
Hey, guess what? It is that time of year again for another Monster Madness. A new horror review will be posted to the sub each day of October. A total of 31 horror reviews, all written by just me, of course. So I don't want any fucking complaints this time. Anyways, I will see you in October for a very fun. And again, I, James Rolfe, am the only writer for the reviews this year, just saying. Bye.
And we used an AI James voice, and we sometimes reviewed proper horror movies. Sometimes we reviewed The Dark Knight. Other times we reviewed just episodes of James's work. And you did it.
Hearing this out loud is great. Sorry, I was just like, I haven't heard it yet. I was like, yeah, it's crazy.
Do you want to share a little bit from your perspective on how all that went down?
Yeah, so I guess it was just like a few people, like a few people, like No Confusion. There's a whole bunch of names, but anyways, like they kind of got the idea. Like it wasn't really me that decided it, but they got me into it at the very start of kind of just curating, I guess you could say, film curate it.
Nice.
And
how many films did you guys make? 31?
31, but we have like at least 5 other bonus reviews just in case like someone didn't.
So technically speaking, you made 36 movies.
Yes, pretty much.
Films.
It's our first films. Yes. What am I trying to say? Feature films. Yes.
Feature films.
Yeah, cinematic masterpieces. And yeah, we made at least more than 31.
Was there any sort of like project leader to this? Like, how did you wrangle? I mean, it's hard enough for any of us to wrangle any creatives.
Yeah, is this just like a worker collective, or how? Does this require leadership? How does this work?
So I guess they're basically. I don't want to just say all me because again, like everyone kind of did their part, but generally just getting people together and getting the word out first of all, that helped a lot. Like No Confusion, and I know a lot of the mods actually helped a lot, like, which is really sweet on the subreddit. And
emo
emo screen name, and
yeah, he's great.
Great Bowser, a few of those guys.
Great Bowser, yeah. He does that awesome artwork, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So many creative asshole-ish varieties.
And that's the main thing. I was like, there's so many people who actually have talent here. So it's like, bet we can do something about that.
I love it. Yeah, because again, like there's legitimate. One could have a legitimate critique that spending any more than a moment glancing at a subreddit that mocks somebody you used to enjoy, is not the best way to use your internet time or your time in general. And so, but the thing that is hard to explain to people, like I get, strangers will kind of blow into our videos all the time. They're like, I don't get it.
I get that too.
Why do you spend all your time hating somebody? I'm like, I don't know quite how to explain this, but like, I promise you it's not hate. Well, it is unfortunate when I come across posts that are like, here's where he disappointed me. But, no, I really do view it as, I heard somebody describe it recently as inverse fandom. It's like, it really is like an extension of the fandom. Like, I guess it's kind of like,
that's how I would put it.
Yeah.
Because like that, what I usually say, because I get it all the time with like, why you always gotta pick on James? And it's not like, and that's the thing is like, I wouldn't be making these videos if I wasn't or was a fan of James.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. And like, again, like I never, and there's so many jokes like on the subreddit that, and the best thing with the subreddit too is like, yes, it can look bad when it's like on the surface level, and there are legit assholes in there, and but there are
not just asshole-ish.
Not just asshole-ish, real assholes that just spew a bunch of bullshit about them, and it's not yeah, it's not fun. It's not what we're there for. At least I'm not there for that. I'm just there for the memes. Yeah. So it's like, and because I used to love those guys. And then I feel like when I got it finally, discovered this site, it was because it was like, where's James been this whole time? And then it's first, you discover the subreddit, and then there's all that information. So that's how I kind of discovered that. And
I wonder if we all have a similar experience. Like this is a YouTuber with tremendous longevity, following him for lots of years, just big part of our lives for a long time, big fans. And then, you start to notice the decline in quality, but you don't really like spend a lot of time thinking about it. And then one day you discover the subreddit and you're just like, wow, this goes so deep. I remember like the first couple of weeks that I found it, I was really into Arcade 1-Up, so I joined a bunch of Arcade 1-Up groups, and I discovered Cinemassacre Truth, and I was like, finally, the social media for me. Watching other people set up arcades and understanding all of these memes over here. Yeah, and it's hard to explain. Like the memes are so good, and yes, they're like they would be incoherent if I had never been a fan of the guy, right? Like so, I suppose it's like Star Wars fandom in that sense, like where. They say like nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans or something like that. But where when you live with something for so long, you become opinionated about it, and you just get to know it so well that you kind of live in the meta commentary of it for a while.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah,
like Star Wars, because it's like I again have those feelings like with Star Wars, where it's like I'll keep watching everything because it's Star Wars, but then I'm just like, oh yeah, Star Wars.
When was the first time that you actually posted something creative to the subreddit?
I actually started about a year ago, because I was like just lurked for a good long time, and then I forget what the first video was, but I was just like posting random memes here and there. And then when the podcast started coming, that's when I really started to
latch on,
do more of it, and then put them on YouTube and all that. So
what inspired that first thing where you're like, I think I want to like cut this down? Or
it's mainly just like I'm just addicted to editing as well. That's another thing. Like I work in video and film, so it's like, but mainly editing a lot is just, I can just do that on my, like as a hobby. Like I'll just do that on my downtime, not play a video game. I'll just literally edit shit.
You are talking to the two right guys.
Oh yeah.
That's all exactly. I trade my free time for editing time constantly.
Yeah. And that's even actually another thing. Too. Oh, so yeah. And so and that's like another part two of it was, like even the beginning was using those videos as practice. Like they're even just like, I was just learning like how to organize better my videos. So I literally would just use his videos and help it to organize myself in Premiere. It's just like kind of things like that, but I actually had something to put out.
Was there a moment where it kind of lived as a joke and you thought maybe you wouldn't be taking it to the next level of actually doing 30? Well, because much like for James himself, it's an ambitious project to be like, we're going to put out 31 videos.
So I think I got like asked in like beginning of August at least. And like, it was no confusion, at least someone else. It was just like, and then kind of just went from there. We're just asking people, and then he made posts and stuff like that. And then made a Reddit group, like a message group, and then just getting all the people. And then we made Google documents and just kind of just organized it all out on like who actually wants to make a video and who has a video, and just putting the ideas down, and then just waiting. And then I made the intros and outros for the video, and then some of them did their own.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm Justin. It makes me laugh every single time.
Terrifying.
I love it.
Hey, I'm Justin.
Now everyone just says it in the comments. It's great. Hey, I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Justin. That's so good. And the slow zoom of Kieran doing the howl also.
Howl, from the drunk video. That's the one.
Now, which episodes did you do?
So I did the Halloween Kills one and the cats.
Right. So EJ just watched the Halloween Kills one. Did you watch the other?
I watched the cats. Those were both like one of my favorites, so that makes sense.
Oh, thanks.
No, I love because I love the re-edit. He's like he's on the Zoom call talking about
the random guitar guy, Mark or whatever.
It's just like, like, am I supposed to know this guy?
In the month of October, and while we're hanging out, I realized what a big Halloween fan you were. Yeah. We've both seen Halloween Kills, but haven't really had the chance to...
Halloween. Are you kidding me? How is it a sequel to Halloween if it's called Halloween?
One of the things that struck me was like a few of them actually were interesting reviews of interesting looking movies. Like they were kind of earnest in that sense.
Yeah, and that's actually like the thing. Like I don't want to say we had guidelines. Okay, yeah, we had. So the only like things we actually told people like what to do was like, yeah, include the intros and outros. The AI James, or like has to involve James. Like, you know, when I did the re-edit,
right,
it's James in it, and then do a movie that he hasn't done previously, kind of thing, and literally anything, right? Like Cats.
Today we're reviewing a very spooky horror film. That is a 2019 film, Cats. This movie is a cat-ass trophy, but it stars America's sweetheart, James Corden.
I love the variety. I love how some of them are more meme heavy. Some of them are more like in the style of the Monster Madness reviews with some memes sprinkled in. I like how there's a lot of different takes on the
I really liked it
on the genre.
I think it's a miracle that it came together. That just feels so much like the kind of thing where you would laugh, maybe you'd have a couple of preliminary conversations, and you wouldn't be able to amass quite enough people, and it, you know, you'd have like 13 episodes and you'd kind of be the laughing stock. You'd be like, you could, you know, you can't keep up with your own troll or something.
Exactly. That's like what in my head it was like first. I'm like, oh, it's a funny idea. And then it wasn't until like finally someone made the post of like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, oh shit, people are going into the group. And then I was like, okay, sweet. Yeah. So then it kind of went from there just to actually start getting videos done. And I think it also helped too. And like, I don't want to say me, but like me and like a couple others who actually had videos done beforehand. Like I finished mine, at least the Halloween Kills one pretty quick. So then when you're sharing, kind of just motivates the people to actually start making theirs.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Have a proof of concept. Yeah. Who came up with, are you the inventor of the James AI voice, or is that somebody else?
No, it's a program called UberDuck. It's like they can do a whole bunch of different AI voices.
Uber Duck Walk?
Uber Duck Walk. There we go. Another sneak one in.
Uber Duck Walk.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember there was a small period. There was a period of time there where there was like one guy just kept doing James AI videos, and it was like funny the first 10 times. It was like, Christ, this whole subreddit is this. Yeah.
And I didn't really like doing them either. Like, I don't really think I made much, but yeah, it just was like funny at first, but it kind of made sense for this because it's like, what else do you really do? But
yeah, I like it. I like it conceptually because part of what you're parodying is that he is puppeteered, and
that's the other part I like about it.
There actually is there's a through line of like what you're watching is Bimmy, who is not the same as James Rolfe.
It's like the AI Bimmy. It's like the computer version to keep things going, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it makes a good through line throughout the whole. Like it gives it, especially with the rappers and the AI voice, it all feels like vaguely similar. So it doesn't. It's not jarringly different. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah, so we wanted to at least try and make it cohesive, like throughout the videos.
How do you organize that? Are you just like, hey, here's like some like kind of plot threads that we'd like everybody to kind of consider?
Kind of. There'd be some points like people would talk with each other, like when the next video is going to come out, and then like, okay, maybe I'll do a lead in there, but kind of flowed. Yeah.
When did you start? When did you all start work? Was it in September?
Around September, yeah.
Wow.
And like actually getting things like going, yeah. But people were talking in August at least.
Was there a moment where you were like, we're going to do this?
That was October. Like, no, not October. Like literally the end of September. It was just like, holy crap. Because like the chart just kept getting done. And then we had like another chart where it was just like, okay, video's actually going to be out this day. And then it actually got filled. And I was like, oh, okay, shit. And then it was just when October came, it was just, okay, then if your day's up, just upload. And like, there was maybe 2 days where it was like, oh shit, someone hasn't uploaded yet. And then someone else had to upload. That was like it. It was never really an issue, which is actually surprising.
Such commitment.
It's a meme magic.
Like I'm actually like, like that's the big thing. It's like, it's all the people. It's crazy that they all were able to do this. Like it's not just one or a few people. It's just wild that all of them got a video done. Like,
no, there's a real commitment to this particular meme lore. Everybody's real. You know, if you get the Cinemassacre truth, you're bought in.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you don't get it, and as I've been saying, if you stand right outside of it and look in, I don't think you'll understand.
A little bit, yeah.
You have to walk through the door and spend a little time there, and then you
you have to at least know a little bit of it, yeah. And that's actually the interesting thing, because I do have friends that I do show all my stuff to, and like they'll laugh at the same time. It's like they don't know what I'm making fun of, or I'm just laughing, but then they're like, huh? And like,
we have the same experience because we have this other channel we've talked about, and that's where all of, anybody who follows us came from there. And then one day we were chatting about this other crazy thing, and they're like, we have some followers who are like, I don't really get the James Rolfe thing.
Because we would spend, even before the like behind the scenes video, we would spend a lot of time talking about the Cinemassacre Truths subreddit to the point where we made it kind of a joke, like, oh, we're bringing it up again, we're bringing this up. And then when the behind the scenes video happened, obviously that's when like more people started noticing us from the outside.
And it becomes kind of its own thing, right? Like for you, like even for me, it was like became its own thing. Like the whole James stuff.
There was another wave of it just like 2 weeks ago. We suddenly were, and it's interesting because there's like, I don't know exactly how the algorithm works, because you'll get like a wave of people who are all like, oh, totally. In 2018, that's when it went downhill. And, they'll start to like kind of like agree. And then you'll get another wave that's like, who the fuck are these virgins? Like, why are they talking about this? James is a Chad. And, they'll be really upset about it.
So true.
As if I'm actually quite as committed as they think I am.
It's funny too. Like people think like I spend hours editing it. It's like I spend like maybe a fully an hour a day, and it's like, I don't know. It's just really funny when people like think about like, what are you just sitting in your room all day editing? It's like, no, well, yes, but not like just James memes. Like
it's interesting the editing thing. Being addicted to editing. There have been a few times where I've edited an episode of my show in a live stream, and I think nobody's going to be interested in watching me edit. And it turns out like a bunch of people who are, maybe they're gamers, or they find it sort of therapeutic to watch another. It's kind of like watching a Twitch stream of somebody playing a puzzle game or something, just watching somebody else solve the problem. Yeah.
That's actually why I like it. Cause like I always say that it's like a puzzle piece. It's just, and that's probably the addicting part of it to me is, now I think about it, is that puzzle part of it, when I'm like, you're mixing things around and making the conversation not right. You know what I mean? Like when you're the awkward conversations. So
or the real magic is when you take two disparate things and you create new meaning through the Eisensteinian Cinemassacre podcast.
It's alive.
So if people wanted to watch them, is there I know they pinned it at the top of the subreddit for now, but like, are they able to go someplace like a YouTube channel, or is that not really possible?
I actually am just like, hopefully next week, I am almost done putting the full compilation together. So it's like the one long video, and I'll probably put chapters in it, but probably next week they'll come out, at least on my channel. So
got it.
And I'll post that. Yeah. And then everyone will be, what am I trying to say? Credited. Like all the names are on there and everything. So
do you think you'll get,
pretty sweet.
Do you think you'll get copyright strikes from
that's what I'm wondering, especially because like there's so much stuff, like so many clips and like music, everything. So that's what I wanted to see first. But
like demonetized would be okay, but if it's
that's fine.
Straight up.
That's blocked. What I mean. Like I don't want to get full on blocked. And that's the part about feature film. It's at least 2 hours right now. It's like at the hour 58-minute mark of like the 31 reviews, not including the other ones. I haven't added those ones yet. So
you're saying if you watch them all continuously
on the timeline. Got it. In one full video, all the views.
I like the bonus behind the scenes video too.
That's
going to be added to it too.
All right, let's take bets. Who of the sort of the Mount Rushmore of slobs, who in that group do you think knows about the Cinemassacre, the Monster Madness of the Asshole-ish variety?
I know Kieran does, and I think Justin does.
How do you know Kieran does?
I've talked to him about it because he's seen my reviews and stuff.
You've spoken to him?
Oh yeah. Whereas I'm actually like decently like, I find Kieran okay only because like now I've actually talked with him because he likes my memes. So I'm like, oh shit, he gets it. He's not.
It's hard to imagine that he's. Well, I mean, the whole,
especially after the whole thing he went through, right? Yeah, exactly.
He and I've never interacted with him personally, but
he's welcome on the podcast.
Oh my god! Please come on.
Yeah, I've talked with him and Justin sometimes, but
we have interacted with Justin a couple of times because he's pretty like he wants to engage with this sort of thing for some reason. Exactly. He wants to engage with this sort of thing. But
he loves the hatred.
Yeah, well, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think that he's a top Cinemassacre truther.
Oh yeah.
I think he knows that everything that's being said over there is basically true.
I can see that. Yeah.
He knows.
Just puts out those little signals.
Yeah, he's like, well, I think maybe James was sad after the movie was finished. I do, honestly, like sometimes I'll think, I'll ponder how upset I would be if I were James after like the effort that movie was. It was clearly a huge effort, and
and that's the thing, like it is like, and that's I don't know. It's always about perspective, because that's what in my eyes, like, because again, like I don't know, video production and all that, right? Like, and I've worked on actual film sets, and like that's what I did before video was working film production, and it is I hate it. I hate making movies. And I've always wanted to be. That's why I love James. Actually, was not for the video games, was because the directing and all that. Like, it was so inspirational, and like now it's just. And I think that's part of it. Why I'm like, kind of wanted to like push him a bit. It's like, I just do something creative in a way, because it's like I know you can, and I know he can. In a way, or
you want to be like kind of like his Mickey. You want to be like,
I want to be like, get up there, get him in the.
Yeah. You want to punch
get out
him
there.
down. Yeah.
I want to force him to eat raw eggs.
Would you drink these, please?
Yeah, come on, James.
Sake.
On the camera.
Okay, so we know that they probably know. We don't care if Tony knows. If they know, then probably Ryan knows. So the big question: does James know that these guys made Monster Madness for him?
Literally, I've never. It's the weirdest part. Like, I don't even know about Monster Madness. I don't even know about the sub. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like he doesn't know about anything.
Do you think so you think it's possible? It's within it's within the realm of possibility that he doesn't actually know about the subreddit itself.
That, or he just never commented on it. It's just kind of weird in a way. Like,
he doesn't want to get involved in the drama.
Yeah, doesn't want to get involved.
He's a little bit of a cool police about it. My theory would
Which
be,
makes sense.
My theory is that he is aware that there is such a thing called Reddit. He's not been to it before. He's heard of it. And
I guess he's aware of it. Yeah. Cause now I think about it with the whole Ahole-ish variety comment, right? Like he probably is.
But even that sounds like, it sounds like somebody told him about it. It doesn't sound like he actually.
Yeah, exactly. He just knows of a place on Reddit.
To me, that's probably what jumpstart. That's what captured my imagination so much so early, was the thought that all this could be happening on Reddit, and he would somehow not really know about any of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of egomaniac that would, of course, like I'm like, I can relate to Justin in that way. Right? I would show up. There'd be no keeping me away.
Tip your hat a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a little hello here and there.
I'm the kind of guy who replies to comments. That kind of bastard. Okay. So, do you have a favorite one outside of your own?
The slobs?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I meant. Well, do you have a slob? Is that what you're saying?
Do I have a favorite slob?
What was your favorite?
What?
No, your favorite Ahole-ish variety episode.
Oh, man. Okay, well, the one I can't even remember the name, but the one that had Justin in it killed me just because of the voice. It threw me off it killed me actually. I can't remember the name of the one, but
here's what I'm thinking. If you have
Justin in it was good.
If you have a connection to those guys and they couldn't at least provide like a voice or something like that to one of these, I know for some people on the subreddit would be like, they shouldn't participate, but I think it would be very funny if they did.
I think they should, because that's also the thing too. It's like they should, in a way, kind of not embrace it, but like
acknowledge,
not show a pushback. Just not push back towards it all. Because
I think Matei has kind of gotten there. Like, where at this point in his, like, once a stream, he'll say load was huge. He'll say
that's
Brown
a perfect
bricks.
example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he embraces it. So
he knows there's no escape. That's the truth of it. There's no escape.
Exactly. You
have to break out a Inspector Gadget voice. Yeah.
Yeah. On the internet, you have to embrace it. Like
my child, my 5-year-old is starting to get into Minecraft a little bit, and Yeah, you know where this is going.
Oh, that would, yeah, I would not be able to stop.
And like we don't, my wife and I are still kind of like trying to understand like the appeal, and we're also like kind of, you know, we know that like kids get obsessive about Minecraft, but you know, my wife does not visit the subreddit, okay, and yet like we're in like Target and we're looking at like Minecraft dungeons, and I hear her go like brown bricks with Minecraft. I was like, have I somehow passed that on to you?
Just like the vapors, yeah. It's like
do you think that
through the air?
It's because they like to build brown bricks with Minecraft. I also like to build brown bricks with Minecraft.
Do you think that Cinemassacre Truth, you know how like you know like Bohemian Grove and like the Freemasons and stuff like that, where there's like the, you know, this kind of rich elite, they connect on some schedule. You would never know that like Elvis Presley and like I don't know, like a poet would meet up, and I feel like that's a little, you know, at this point between Red Letter Media, there's that GTV Japan guy, is that his name? He had like a subtitle in a video recently that said 5 of them. There's all these, like, I've been contacted by big YouTubers who watch us talk about it.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
There's all these big, like, people, look.
Oh, they know, yeah.
You can act like this is some underground shit, but there's like popular people out there that follow this and find it funny because the guy's
even like is it Ani Plays or whatever? He does the brown brick all the time.
Oh, like, that guy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he like made it big. Like, it's crazy.
What was that?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And JonTron was in the rental store, and he had a he had a recent video where he did the kind of a rolling rock on the rock.
Right.
Floor.
I got the Lazy Boy on the Lazy Susan. Lazy Boy, Lazy Susan. Yeah! I got the Lazy Boy on the Lazy Susan.
So look, it is like the Stonecutters, you know, it's like brown bricks with not Minecraft. Shut up.
And I've definitely used a compilation on one of my videos too.
Yeah, we all have to tip our hats to it.
Time compilation.
Well, so there was another guy who had contacted me. His name was Luke, and he had made now I can't remember. Oh, he did the Dream Phone episode.
Right. Yeah. I think
he put a little picture. He put a little video of me in the rear window laughing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hitchcock stole it for his movie Rear Window.
Yeah. Imagine if you failed because you had no time.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if all of you were like, guys, I'm a little busy. I mean, I have kids. Like it's like 31 different men.
You gotta stop. You guys have to stop. Like,
you guys have to stop.
I have no time, so you have to stop.
It occurred to me once I was the fact that some of them were almost functional enough, almost like took themselves seriously enough, AI voice aside, that like I was like, oh, I learned something interesting about that movie. It made me think like maybe, you know, it's not the kind of thing I would have recommended before last year's mishap, but now I'm kind of like, wouldn't it have been like if there's this much creativity on this stupid subreddit? Think about how much creativity there is in this dude's fan base. I mean, like you've seen all the fan art over the years, and like,
yeah, there is.
What if he had been like, hey, like making 31 videos for each day of the week is hard, but what if you guys made them and I'll voice them? I'll be your narrator. I'll be your Joe Bob's Briggs, but you guys make them. And this is how, you know, maybe we can make this a tradition every year where we keep the Monster Madness tradition alive, but you know, Cinemassacre can focus on other content otherwise.
Keep the fan base engaged.
Wouldn't that be so cool if like you did this kind of creative collective?
Yeah. It wouldn't be awesome if like Screenwave was watching this and ripped you off next year.
It's just like they're just having notes right now. All just sitting around a conference table. Like, what is he gonna say?
Ooga booga. How does he? Do you know how he feels about the caveman stuff?
He loves it now, I think.
Really?
That's what like he's told me. He's just like, yeah, it's just like it's funny now to him
because there's no escape.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Punch the garbage out of somebody?
Yeah. Is that your recourse? You're gonna punch the garbage out of somebody, or are you gonna laugh? You're gonna say ooga booga, say the line.
You're gonna say ooga booga.
Why don't you stop punching people in the throats? Why don't you go ahead and say ooga booga?
Calm down. Stop screaming about aliens.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing that. To the extent that you were the leader of this effort, we thank you as lurkers and fans. And would you do it again, or like is that not even something you can think about right now?
Oh, I definitely would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make it an annual thing.
I'd love that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like do a Christmas version.
Oh my God! Like Cinemassacre.
12 days of shitmas.
Oh my God.
Or assholishness. I don't know.
12 days of assholishness.
Assholishness. Yeah. There we go. Gotta copyright the shit.
That would be that. I would really enjoy that. Yeah. So, let us know when it's up on YouTube when we can watch it straightforward, or maybe you could upload them all to Odyssey and put them on a website somewhere.
Yeah. You should look at that. Yeah.
Too brutal for YouTube. Too asshole-ish for YouTube.
That's the right word.
There it is.
That should be the title for it.
That's your web. Is there a top level domain like .asshole like TCT .asshole
like Cinemassacre Truth
like that ninja.
TCT .asshole.
That would work.
Well, thank you, and
thank you guys.
Next time you guys have a big project, come on back.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks for all you do as well. Yeah.
No problem.
See you guys.
Thanks. After we recorded that Red Cow review you just watched, someone named Luke, or PorcoRoss88 as he goes on the subreddit, reached out with his thoughts on being part of the project and making the Dream Phone video. Yeah. Luke, take it away.
So I want to make this video and just give you my perspective because I was interested in what Danksy would bring to it. You know, he said that he wasn't the leader and it was a group effort and stuff, which is true, but he was definitely the corraller. I love getting over ambitious about things and turning 30-second shitpost videos and then extending them to like 3, 4, 5 minutes in length and then doing 31 of them. I like that. I like the ridiculousness of it. I love like gold fucking platinum tier like trolling, and my background on James and Cinemassacre is almost identical to yours. And I watched the Cinemassacre 200 video, which was like, oh, the stacking the two VCRs on top of each other. That is exactly how I made my first movies when I was 11 years old. I like that you mentioned in the video that you said you didn't see it as coming from a hateful place, which I agree with for the most part. Certainly on my end anyway. It is from a love of James. If there was no Rex Viper, if there was no behind the scenes video, what would the subreddit be doing now? Probably very little, you know. I think if James saw it or was told about it, he'd go, oh yeah, that's kind of weird and interesting, huh? And then he'd just move on with his day. That behind the scenes video was the first time he's referenced anything of like backlash or anything. He has always stayed away from it, and I guess it was just getting too much.
And I'll even address a few complaints of the asshole-ish variety.
So I did the Dream Phone episode, and I was really like, I'm not going to do this, am I really? I got responsibility, I got kids, I got work editing, my own channel, all sorts of stuff. There's always projects. Would making this, really be worthwhile? No, but it sounds fun. I tried to avoid some of the memes in my video, and 540 was one that I couldn't abide. And by the end of the month, I'm done with 540. It got buried into the ground so hard, and... And it was the same joke every time. It was like, just like, okay, I have to wrap up the review now because I have to be done by 5:40 now. And it's like, yeah, okay. And that's why I put the line in my video, like, no time. Yeah, but you haven't heard that fucking one all month already.
That's right, I said it. No time. Bet you haven't fucking heard that one this month already.
I have kids.
I did see in Miss Marvel, there was a clock on the wall that said 5:40, and I was like, immediately I was like, hang on a minute. Did someone sneak that in there? And I had to tell you, like, I showed my friend who introduced me to AVGN, and he's kind of like, huh. And he just doesn't get it, and sometimes I'll talk to him about the drama, and he's just like, okay. There was one point where we didn't have a video, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if we did like a video of James apologizing? And I was like, oh, this is great. When I'm like, no, don't actually do it. Let's just have 31 reviews, not 30 reviews and an apology video. And they're like, no, and then someone made it, and I'm like, oh my god. you drop in a little idea and people just like, okay, let's do that, which in a way was great. It was nice seeing the variation where, like, you would see slightly different takes, and one would be like an actual semi-decent replication of what James would kind of do. Another would be completely off the wall. There were people who had never edited. They said, like, I've never edited a video before, but I really want to do this. And I love that stuff. I love the kind of, yeah, cool, let's bring some guys in and do it. And even if it's not that good, at least you've made something. So I really enjoyed that about the monster madness of the Ahole-ish variety. You know, I mean, wouldn't it just be amazing if James dropped a video talking about it? You know, I feel like James is a fairly passive person with a lot of creativity inside him, but at this stage in his life, little energy, and I can totally understand that with two very young kids of my own now. I totally get it. Even in that weird apology video he made where he's just like, I just want to say sorry about the plagiarism, you know, not that it was my fault.
So my apologies. Even though I'm not the one who did it, it was me who trusted that person.
I love the stuff that you guys do. I love the podcast clips and stuff. They're enjoyable to listen to as someone, again, who doesn't have a real world outlet to talk about this shit. So anyway, that's it. Cheers.